I don't know if I can present.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
Okay.
You can, but you have to be first because I want to be done with this. Then I want to move on to logical functions. Let's see what we can cover there today. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
I don't know if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. So my question, okay, Sadane, so I tried the middle name, and I like the last class I did like you said, and then this was what I got. So my question, because I understand that you said that the mid name doesn't really have to be like the middle name. But then in this case, we want to get the middle name, like in case for Jane Ann, we want to get Ann as the middle name. So when I tried it for Michael, it was like a straightforward stuff for me. I got it. But then for Anne, I was having E to come with Anne. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, so what I did was I did equal to mid, then the text I want to pick from, then comma, and then the character, which is 5, and then where I want to cut from, which is 8. So when I drag down, you can see from what I have here, I'm having this for Robert, I'm having ERT to come with James. So this is where I am finding it kind of difficult.
I was expecting this kind of. Just don't worry. Let's talk about it. Right. Let's kick off with that before we move on to what we have for today. But you will get an assignment, and the way I've worded the assignment, you have to think to be able to do what I want you to do. It's not just writing and dropping formulas. You need to be able to think your way out of the problem, and that's how those questions will come in.
Okay, so sorry, can I go? Sorry. So what I tried doing is to go to each one after the other, and then to impute the character I want, where I want it, where I want to start cutting from. But I know that if I have a long data set, I can't be doing it one after the other. So I don't know if there's a shorter way to just do that.
One of the strongholds, one of the positives of an Excel function or formula is the ability for it to change. It's relativity. In the case where you have to go into every singular row to edit your formula, then you know you've gotten it wrong. Like you see, we did with the first name, we did with the last name. We were able to write just one code, and we dragged it down, and it was going to where it's supposed to be. So I know I did. I understand where you're coming from. That's why we're kicking this off. So please pay attention to this because we're about to treat it now for it to be relative, to work appropriately. So is there any other question? Glory Chiamaka, do you have anything before I kick off what I have or what I need to do? get done today.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good
Uh,
evening.
I have a question.
Yeah,
Like, I tried it up by myself. Let's assume that there are people that don't have middle name.
yeah.
And when I tried to separate the names into these columns, first name, middle name, and last name, I found out that some who doesn't have middle name, the value was not found. And those who are supposed to have last name, the value was not equally found. I don't know if I should share my screen and show what I'm trying to say.
But everybody, the sample I gave to you guys, everybody there has a middle name.
I used another sample. Like, what if someone doesn't have a middle name? Because there are people
Then,
like,
in most cases, right, this example here that I gave you guys, the sole purpose is to learn how to manipulate text strings. You understand? In most cases, there's no need for you to pull out a middle name. But the case where you want might not be a middle name, might be a word out of a sentence you want to pull out or something. The ability to manipulate a string of characters anyhow you want is very important when it comes to data cleaning using Excel, especially if you're not using Power Query. Now, that is why I came up with this. All of this information I'm giving you guys are controlled. I set it that way. If there are names without middle names, all I need to do is just sample them out. Just sample the ones that have middle names, work on them, and the ones that have middle name, you can say no middle name there. You understand? Using the sort and filter.
okay,
Yeah. But
so I'm,
there
yeah,
are other ways, yeah, there are other ways of getting, but that's like the simplest way without complexity I can suggest. You filter out people that have the three names, you leave people that don't have the three names. You work on the ones with the three names. You clear the filter. You filter the people that have the two names. Then you can fill in those columns, those rows in that column. No middle name. You're passing that information. Oh, sorry, Ojo.
Sorry, it was a mistake, sir.
All right, Rachel. I thought you've asked the question before because Sundays are usually very tight. The time is not long enough. You know,
I've not asked.
please, but make it brief so that I can work on what I have today, please.
Okay, when I was trying to solve the same problem, I tried so many formulas and I was getting errors. Then when I got to the one she used, the one Benedicta used, I got the first line. When I want to scroll down, I did not get it fully. Then I now left it. Now found out that it's actually wrong. And I left it. But I tried so many ones, I was getting it wrong. As in error everywhere.
All right, it's cool. So let's solve the problem together. I'm going to write out the formula, check if it's working, then I'll walk you guys through how it works. Okay. So now let me write out the formula to you guys will also get the formula as well. We get it by the end of this class. I took it out to see if you guys can, try to figure it out on your own. Or
I got the formula. I
you
got
got the
the
form
yes.
from what I posted or from your head.
I researched the formula and got it.
Okay. All right, that's cool. But because of time, I would have told you to present, but because of time, let me just write it out. So, but if you did, kudos to you. That was really, really impressive. Okay. So now, this is how it works. So because I want to extract not from the beginning or from the end, I'm going to use the mid because you use the mid to extract from any point. Where do I want to extract from? Yeah. Right? what do I do? I'm going to find the first space. Here am I finding the first space? I'm finding it here. Right? I'm going to close it. Then I will go. What's my number of characters? My number of characters will be find space. Yeah, comma, find space. Comma. Right? Close this. I will do +1 minus. I will go find space. Yeah. Close it. -1. Let's see if it works. Okay. So you can see the people that tried and was having issues with it giving. You can see that there's a way of doing it for it to work, right? We're able to pull out the middle name. So now, yeah, the formula long. I know the formula long, right? But that's it. The person that said she did a research, is this what you did to get it?
Yes, I posted it on the message. Yes, certainly.
All right. So now,
This is the same formula I have. I don't know why it didn't work.
based on your research, can you quickly explain to us how the function works? Let me open it for you, then you can explain. Oh, yeah.
Okay. The first find, let me start with find space A1 gives the position of the first space.
Start from the beginning, from the mid.
The first find space, comma, A27 now.
What does
For
this
that,
do? What does this do? What I highlighted first. Start from the beginning.
okay, mid A27.
Yeah. What does it do?
It selects from that particular cell, A27, starting from the mid.
What does the
So
mid? What is the function of that mid?
the mid function is to select characters from a particular cell or a specification.
Not select, cut. The
Okay.
left, the right, and mid, they cut. Everything inside this mid is now pointing it where to cut from. But that mid, the left and the right, that is the function that does the cutting. Do you understand? Using the parameters inside of it, you can see everything from here to here is encased in the mid bracket.
Yes.
You see, so that mid, left, right, mid is what you use to cut. Where to start cutting from and where to stop cutting from is what we just did inside of it. So this is it. Okay, now what does this one do?
Let me take find to A27.
All right.
Okay, find to A27 gives us the position of the first space.
Okay.
So then let's include the +1.
So what does the +1 do?
it extracts from the character immediately after the first space.
Yeah. So when you write this, as you're talking, I will be adding so that I won't have to do this over and over again. So when you add this to it, now the cursor is at this space here between John and M. If you do +1, it goes to M. If you do -1, it goes to N. If you do -2, it goes to H. If you do +2, it goes to I. Right? So at the end of the day, all of these things are indexes, and indexes are represented by numbers. Even the characters you're seeing here, the computer reads them as numbers. Right? So keep that at the back of your mind. That's why you can see that we can plus and subtract, because instead of the computer reading the actual character, it is reading the position. Do you guys understand?
Yes.
All right. So continue.
So this find, that's the next find now. We are done with that one highlighted.
Yeah.
So this find till the last A7, A27.
Yeah.
Where no, till this one here, sorry. Till the +1 there.
Okay.
So that one finds to the second space and to the next character.
Okay.
That is Smith, the S for Smith.
Okay.
So the last one now, just like we just like we did for left, it now goes back to the last space before L for Michael.
Okay.
So it now subtracts it till it gets to the last space before that L. So that is where this mid now would now cut out Michael from after doing the whole matters.
Okay. So you've tried. Thank you very much. Before I add trauma light on what you said, look at the structure of the find function. We'll have the find text, we have the within text, and we have the start number. Right? So we're looking for something within another text. Where do you want to start from? Now, there's a reason why I wrote that. So if you look here, find the mid, this is what we use to cut, right? So say, okay, fine. In the mid, remember all of these things is inside the mid. So look at the mid function. This is how the mid function works also. At base value, right? This is how the mid function works. We'll have the text where we want to cut from, where we want to start cutting from, and the number of characters we want to cut out. Now, this is the text we want to cut from, right? Mid. Now, here, which is the first space, then move your cursor by 1. Now the thing is going to be M. So this is where we want to start cutting from. So we have told mid that I want to start cutting from M by using this find space 27 + 1 here. Right? So let me run this. Let me copy this code out. Right? Control C. Let me drop it here. Control V. Right? We have 6. Good. Now, this is where we want to start cutting from the 6th index. Now, this whole thing you're seeing here is just telling the computer the number of characters it should cut. So how do we know that? We'll say, okay, fine. Now, the number of characters we should cut is I want to find the first space, right? We want to find the first space within here, right? But our start number should be the first space. So now, if we're starting to look for, is for space when our first where we are starting, if we are starting from here and we're looking for space, because of this part of the function here, right? So we're looking for space, right? Good. But where are we starting from? Remember the structure of the find is find text within text, start position. So we are looking for this text, which is space within this phoneme, but we want to start looking from the first space, right? So and if we are starting here to search for that space, it's going to now start, it won't go back, rather to go forward. It will not look for this position here. So it will not return this as the answer, right? Then if you add +1, to push it up to here, right? To push it up to here. So it's not going to be here. It's going to return that position. Again, I'm going to cut this out. Control C equal to, I will go Control V, I'll drop it. We'll have 13. If we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Can you see? Can you see? 13. Now, let's look at the last part of the code. When I say, okay, fine, subtract 13 from the first space. Subtract 13, which is the position of the second space, from the position of the first space. So if we remove these two numbers, what do you think is going to be left, class? Anyone? Anyone? Hello?
Sir, please, can you repeat your question? I didn't get it.
Let me copy this out, right? Control C. Everything you're doing is mathematics. I'll come here and I will go. Let me just do this, right? I'm going to paste this here, right? So 4, this is giving us 4, which is jump. So now, using the find, let me go equals to, sorry, I'm using the mid, right? Using the mid equal to mid, right? Equal to mid. So what is our text? This is our text, right? Sorry, this is our text, right? So from here, rather, I'm coming. So I'll come here and I'll say equal to this minus this. This minus this. And I'll press enter. We'll have 9. Right? We'll have 9. So if I come here and I go equal to mid, what is the text? 827. Right? 827, comma. What is our starting position? Our starting position is now going to be this. I think, no, this. Number of characters will be this. And I close it. Let's see if we get Michael. Okay. Okay, this minus this minus 1. Minus 1. We'll have this. We'll have this. I always have problems breaking this down. But basically, right, like I said here, from here to here, telling us this is what cuts the function. So what is going to be our start number? Our start number is going to be the first space, right? Plus 1, which will take us to m. That's our start number. Our number of characters is going to be the position of the second space minus the position of the first space. Do you guys understand? The position of the second space, which is this, minus the position of the first space. Find space 27 is the position of the first space. We are subtracting it from the position of the second space. How did we get the position of the second space? We say find. Again, look at the structure. Look at the structure of the find function. I know it's complicated, but look at the structure of it. This is the structure of the find. Did I write out the syntax? Yeah. Okay, let me get rid of. Here's the find. Let me insert a text box here. Let me write it out for you guys. The find function works like this. Find, right? Find, open brackets. What are we looking for? Right? What are we finding? Where are we finding it? Where are we finding it? And finally, where do we start looking for it? This is the syntax of the find function. I come here and I go equal to find. We are just look at it. Find text, which is what you are looking for. Within text, this is where we are looking for it. Start number, start position of where we are finding. And for us to get the position of the second space, if I were to come here, if I want to get the position of the second space, I'll go equal to find, right? I'll go, because I think this is where it's becoming confusing. I will go equals to find. What am I finding? I'm looking for space, right? Comma. Where am I looking for this space? I'm looking for this space here. But where do I want to start the find from? I don't want to start from the beginning. If I run it like this, it's going to give me 5, which is this first space here. But I want, if I want it, because once a criteria is met, the function stops working. So I want the start position to be after or on this space here. So what do? I will come here. I will come here, comma. So my start position will now be, I will now find, I'll find, what am I finding? I'm finding the space here. Let me run it. Okay. Let me look at this. Then I will go +1. I'll go +1. And so now it's giving me 13. It's giving me 13. Do you guys understand? Class, do you guys understand? Now I have 13 because the start position, I'm not, what I did here, I said, okay, for instead of you to start from the beginning, I want you to start from, look for this space, then move one space in front of it, then start from here. So when, and also remember, I told you that Excel function runs from the inside out. It doesn't start from here, it starts from the end, it runs backwards, right? So what this is going to run, when I run it, okay, fine. This is the last function passed into it. So okay, fine. Find this position, right? It's going to be here. So now tell it, okay, fine. Then find the space from this position, which will give you this. That's why we got 13. And that was how we're able to subtract the second space from the first space, then return it to the mid to cut it out as our starting position. Question? Questions? The place is too quiet. Do you guys understand? Yeah, Edidion.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
good
sir.
evening.
When I tried doing it on my own, I didn't
Yeah.
use find function. What I did was I just inserted mid, and then the text I took it from the full name, and then the start number. I was able to count. Okay, where is the Michael starting from, and then
It's
number
not
of
going to work.
characters that Michael contains. And once I inputted that, it actually gave me the middle name.
It's not going to, what if, when you drag it down, these names have different length. The whole
Okay.
purpose of a function is you write it once and it will adapt to whatever you're trying to do. So imputing the numbers manually is just your, so what if there are 10,000 names you want to extract the middle name for? Would you start checking each and every one of them 10,000 times? It doesn't work
Okay.
like that. But with this function I wrote here, you only need to write it once, you drag it down.
Okay. Okay. Understand.
Very
Thank you, sir.
simple. Very simple. So that is how this, what I just explained here, this thing I just explained here, is this part. Is this part of the code, right? Remember this part from here to here. Please, you guys should pay attention to the structure of the mid. The mid is where are we cutting from? Where are we starting to cut from? And what is the number of characters we are cutting out of it? This is where we are cutting from. This is where we are cutting from, which is this. This is our start position. What is the output of this? It's telling us to start from the letter after the first space, which is N. Now, how many characters are we trying to cut from it? We are subtracting the number of the second space from the first. So if we subtract this number from this, the number that we get will be representative of what is in the middle. What is in the middle. So this is how this function works. This is how this function. Forget about the length. I told you complex functions are built gradually from fundamentals. From fundamentals. It's just the logic. How you can think your way out of a problem. Here's the Ugochukwu.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, so I was going to ask, I understand that in writing functions that everything is important, including all the commas and apostrophes. So in a situation whereby a comma that was supposed to be in a function is missing, I'm sure we are not going to get the solution to what we're looking for. So
You won't.
is there at any point where like you will have to teach people like me myself, I'm not tech savvy, or have any or have I'm a pro to statistics or something, how to like write the fundamental like the basics of these functions, because they look like rocket science to me actually. And no matter how you try to like analyze, like it's making me like doubt if I actually could get all this.
These functions, were you here the last class?
I wasn't, but I watched through the whole recording.
Is there anything you're seeing here individually that I've not taught before from that last
Yeah,
class?
exactly. You have. But I'm just saying like how I will like write it on my own. I could actually understand what you're saying, but writing it myself with all the commas and everything is looking like it's really looking difficult.
The reason why it's looking, these are functions wrapped inside functions, wrapped inside functions. Each
Okay.
function here has a structure. Each function here has a structure, and the structure is separated by a comma. If you don't
Okay.
understand the basic structure of the functions, you cannot manipulate it to your needs.
These are the
You
personal note.
understand?
Yes, sir.
You cannot
I think
you
you have
cannot
to like
manipulate. I told you guys, this is the mid. Look at the structure of the mid. Look at the structure of the mid equals to mid. You have to go back to basics. If you feel those things I taught you guys was simple, I knew why I started from there. Look at the mid structure. We have the text. This is what we want to find. This is where we want to cut from, right? This is the position of, right? If I write this, if I press comma, can you see it has gone to the start number? So this is the start. How many numbers do I want to cut from it? I can put maybe 5 here. I can put maybe 5 here. Immediately I press comma, it goes to the third argument. Do you understand? This is the structure of the mid, and this is the text where we are cutting from, the position we want to start cutting from, the numbers of characters. This long code that we wrote here, this is where we want to cut from. This, look at the comma, look at the first comma here. This is where we want to start cutting from, and this is the number of characters we want to cut from it. That is it. That is it.
thank
So please go back to the old video, watch the structures, check for find, check for mid. Check for find, check for mid, and you understand where these commas are coming in.
you, sir.
Please, because of time, let me go into what I couldn't do, what I wanted to do today because of this thing here. So that is it for text, right? I've covered about 12 or more functions when it comes to text functions, right? I've covered about 12 or more. I've showed you guys how to manipulate it to get desired results based on what you know, right? So I feel like I've covered more than enough. So it's less for you to practice on it. Now let's go to the if statement, right? The if statement is an important statement, not just in Excel, not just in data analysis, but tech in general, right? There is no programming language that does not have an if statement. From Excel to tools like Power BI, Tableau, to programming languages like Python, to SQL, to Java, JavaScript, C#, C++, Ruby, all of them, they have this if statement in there. Why? Because this is one of the statements that helps the computer ask questions. Right? This is what makes the computer ask questions. We have, so this is the syntax of the if statement, right? Let me insert the text box here. Let me write it out. So equal to if, right? If, open brackets, condition, comma, value, if through, value false. So this is the structure of an if statement, right? So the if statement helps the computer to ask a question, right? It helps the computer to ask a question. If this is true, return this. If this is wrong, or if it's not true, then return this. Now, this is used a lot of the time from segmentation, customer segmentation, segmentation in general, to grouping, and it's the bedrock for complex analysis when it comes to tech in general, not just Excel. So I'm going to write an example of how this thing works now, then we'll go from there. So remember the structure here. So the function is if. Now, let's assume you're working in a school. They say they define. Yes, it's used to ask questions, basically. So they ask you to grade the students based on their score, right? So anybody that scores above 50 should pass. Anybody that scores below 50 or 50 and below, anybody that scores from 51 to 100 pass. Anybody that scores from 50 to 0 fail. So what is going to be our condition here? Now I will go equal to, I will go if. I'll go if. My condition will now be, is the score greater than 50, right? This is the condition. Is the score greater than 50, comma, what do I want to output if the value, if this question, if it's true, if the answer to this question is yes, what do I want to output? I'll go pass. What if the answer to this question is no? What do I want to output?
Fail.
Fail. Then I close my bracket. Class, why am I encasing this pass and fail in double quotations? Glory.
I think it's because it is a text, it's a string, so it should be in double
All right.
quotes.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I'm going to press enter and I'm going to drag it down. And you can see student 1, 85, pass. Student B, 0 fail, student C 70 pass. So you can see anything from 50 failed, above 50 pass. Why? Because you ask the question and we told Excel to return either if the question is true or if the answer to that question was yes or no. Questions, if you guys have, before I go further, because it gets complex from here. Yeah, Beatrice, question. I'm assuming you guys have understood the base of the if condition. Anita.
Good evening, Mr. Daniel.
Yeah,
I
good
think
evening.
I understood this if condition more better than the median, honestly. Like this if condition is quite more clear.
This is the base of it. Like you understood mid when I wrote mid as a singular function, right? When I start mixing and matching this now, you still get confused if you don't understand the base very well. So this is the simplest form of this if here. You know, it gets complex very easily. Are we together? So the person I was asking full name, what did they have middle name? I can use this if to return the person's full name if there's no middle name, or space if there's no middle name, using this if in conjunction with the mid. Let's see if we can do that. It just popped in my head, but let's see if I can quickly do that here. Let me see. Let me go to text, right? Let me add one more name. Somebody should give me her first and last name randomly. One person.
Kim Sarah.
Sarah who?
Kim Sarah. K-E-M, then Sarah.
Okay, Kim Sarah.
K-E-M, then Sarah. Yeah.
Let's try something here. Right, we're saying it's giving us an error here, right? It's also giving us an error here because the way we structure this code, we structure with a 3 name. Let's see if we can do something here, right? Because if we were to run this code, it's going to give us an error, right?
This is exactly what it gave me.
Yes.
Was names that doesn't matter.
I can encase this. I'll say, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll go off the top of my head. If this is greater, I'm coming up, is greater than 0, right? Comma, do this. Do this. I'm coming on. I'm just thinking on the fly. It might not work, but I know there's a way of doing it. Control C. Control C. Control V. Right? Comma. If it's false, I will say return dash. Right? Let me press enter. Let's see if this will work. It's still giving us value. Where are we having issues here? If value if true, do this, comma. I know if I use, let me use if error. Let me use if error. There's a function called this if error. We'll talk about it later. I know using if I can get that done, but it's on the fly. So if control did I make a mistake there before now? Let me go to the view. Let me just drag this down, right? We should be able to manipulate that if to do something like that. Let me drag this down to fill here. Equal to if okay, if it's greater than 0, comma, then run this function. Control C. I'm going to paste it here, comma. If it's not, then just return yeah. There's a simpler formula. All you have to do is just use text to column to get it. I feel like I'm missing, it's still giving me that value error. Okay, let me see. Equals to hashtag value. Hashtag value. Let's tweak this code a bit. So 1 minute. 1 minute. Let me see if I can come up with an idea on how to make this work on the fly. I'm with you guys though. I might visit that. I might come back to that, right? But let me just conclude what we have for today. I just wanted to introduce you guys to the if functions today, because from Wednesday, we're going in there to talk about the nested ifs. We'll talk about the if statements. We'll talk about the logical operators, which is the and, the or, and the not. Then we're going to combine all of them to even give us complex logics to answer. Right? Right?
Right, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why I wanted to treat this function, this middle name today. Then okay, I'll check this back and I'll give back to you guys on that. Maybe next class. So I wanted you guys to understand this if at the base, the same way I did with the text functions very well, because we're going to we have the ifs, we have the nested if function, which is a more complicated version of this. We have the nested if function, and we have the ifs, right? Now, this if can only take one condition. So what if we want to pass multiple conditions? Then we need either a nested if or an ifs. If we want the logic to even be much more complex, we have to make use of logical operators These are not functions. These are operators. These work like and all of that. Logical operators, right? We'll combine these if statements with logical operators like and, or, and not to give us even complex logic to answer. So now, this first example I did here is everyone caught up on how it works on this if. Are we together? Now, remember that the values you're passing here can be anything. It doesn't have to be a word. It doesn't have to be string. It can be a number. It can be calculations. It can be a reference. It doesn't matter, right? Now, let's do it like this, right? Let's do it like this. So anybody that scored above 50, right? Anybody that scored above 50. I'm really sorry, there's no light in my house. I'm using my smaller screen to view what is there, because what you guys are seeing, I can't see it. I can only see the screen of my Google Meet. So now let's say we want to play again with another logic. Anybody that scores above 50, right? We want to subtract 10 from their score. But anybody that scores below 50, we want to add 10 to their score. So what do? I'll come here, equal to if. I'll come here equal to if. What's my logical function? Again, score greater than 50. Right? Score greater than 50. Comma. So what is the value? If the score is greater than 50, what do I want to do? I will say, okay, this minus 10, comma. If it's less than 50, what do I want to do? This plus 10. I'll close my brackets and I'll press enter. So can you see the score has dropped from 85 to 75? If I drag this down, this 0, I'll have 10 here. Can you see? Can you see? So I can use this, I can rename this score 2, and I can use this as my new score. And I'll drag it down. Questions? If you guys have questions on this base in function, now is the chance, because it's already time. So let me start with Christopher. Yeah, what's your question?
Okay, sir, good evening.
Yes.
I wanted to ask, why didn't you put those numbers in a quote, same way you put the pass and fail?
Because I only put strings. You only put strings in quotes. Anything that is not a string, you don't need to quote it. You shouldn't. If you quote it, it's going to return it as it is. If I come here, anything inside a quote, Excel treats it as a string. If I come here and I put quotes here, no matter what it is, Excel will convert it to a string.
Okay.
If I press enter now, you see?
Oh, yeah.
You can see. So instead of performing the calculation, it's just giving us what we wrote inside the string. What is string? A string is a combination of characters. What are characters? A, B, C, D to Z. So all these words, sentences, all of those things, those are strings. Right? A string is kind of it's a category of data type rather. We have characters. The strings is a text or a character combination. So a text can be A to Z. Then we have characters. Characters can be question mark, minus, even numbers as well. So for the text data types, we have the string, we have the char, which is the character, we have the varchar, which is a combination of variables and characters. Right? Varying character. That's the full meaning of varchar. So that includes symbols to your normal A to Z. So a string is a combination of these characters. So words, sentences, those are strings of data. That's why if you see here, whenever you encase it into a double quotation, you're telling Excel treat this thing as a string rather than a formula. Christabel,
Yes, sir.
question. Your hand is up.
Okay, sorry, I just asked. Sorry. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Patience.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes, I just wanted you to repeat for me the condition.
Sorry, I think your network had a glitch. I couldn't hear you.
I said, could you please repeat for me the condition?
We have one condition, right? This is the condition here. This is the condition. Is the score greater than 50? That is the condition. That is the question we are asking. Is the score greater than 50? What do we do if the value is true? If the score is greater than 50, we want to subtract 10 from the score, comma. If the value is not greater than 50, we want to add 10 to the score. So this is the function. This is the function. Like I told you guys, the value if true, value if false, it can be anything. It can be anything. It can be anything. Do you get? I can come here. If I want to find out the name, I want to find out the name of the highest scoring. I want to find out the name of the highest scoring student here. What do I do? First of all, I'll go equal to. I'll create not rand. I'll create a helper column here. Rank EQ, call it rank EQ. What am I ranking? I'm ranking this. Where am I ranking it from? The range of all of this. Right? I'll press enter. I'll press enter. Or rather, what do I do? I'm even going a step too far. Sorry. I'll go equal to, right? I'll go equal to. If I want to, okay, sorry, I'm going too far. I'm going too far. So this is it. This is it. I don't want to confuse you guys. I don't want to go complex. Esther Paul, your question. The if statements can only take one condition, right? Can only take one question. If I want to ask multiple questions, that's where the nested if and the ifs will come in. And that's what we'll be kicking off with on Wednesday. You will see we're going to get more complex with the if statements. The if statement, the use case, I use it every day. In fact, the project I was working on, people that were here earlier, I use the if statement there. No tool on earth relating to tech that you don't use the if statement. So it's a universal way of having your computer, your code, have logical reasoning. Because computer is garbage in, garbage out. Now you're making it think, you're making it ask questions. And the only way you can do that is by the if statement. In SQL, it's called a case. It's still the same thing as if. In Power Query, Power BI, there's a new one called the switch. Still the same thing as the if. In Python, it's called the if else. It's still the same thing as the if. The fundamental logic is condition, value if true, value if false. Esther Paul.
Okay, so I want to ask, I don't know if this was had been explained before. Why did you add 10 in the if plus 10 in the statement that you created for the pass or fail?
I just said I wanted to show you guys that you can also work with the value if true and value false with calculations as well. It's not just words. So I just painted, I said an hypothetical, fine. Anybody that is scoring above 50, let's subtract 10 from them. Anybody that's scoring below 50, let's add 10 to them. Now, let me give you guys an hypothetical because I have like 3 minutes left. In fact, I've exceeded by 12 minutes. I'm really sorry for that. If you're working or they ask you to build a point of sale machine, right? And your supermarket or your business is giving out a bonanza. And what is the bonanza? 10% off if the person buys 3 quantity of a product. So what do? I will say, okay, fine. If the quantity bought is equal or greater or equal to 3, comma, I want to multiply the total by 0.9. If it's greater or equal to 3, then if it's not, then just return the total price. Can you see how I will automatically add or remove or not add the what's it called? The discount based on the logic using this if. So it's very powerful. It's very, very powerful. And you will see how we're going to use it on Wednesday. We're going to perform a mini risk assessment analysis for a mortgage company on Wednesday in conjunction with if and the logical operators. You will see how we mix match all of them to assess the risk of our potential clients that wants to borrow money from our company. Do you understand? Any more questions?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions? Lawal.
Good evening, sir. Please, when are we getting our assignments?
You will get it first thing in the morning tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
First thing in the morning. So if you guys grab what I want to teach on Wednesday, I'll create like a mini point of sale that Wednesday, and you see how we use this. Or if there's no time, we'll have to move on to other things because I would love to work with a mini project with you guys at the end of Excel. I'll move to Power BI. And the time is
when is the submission date, please? Sorry for interrupting.
the submission date is Friday before the class. 12. In fact, 12. 12.
Okay.
12 no, Friday. That'll be the submission of the assignment. So we have 5 days to get it done. Questions? Any other questions? Please, if you have not filled the attendance, do it now because once I end the call, you no longer have access to the link. So if you haven't, I implore you to do that now. It's going to count towards the assessment. Silvanus, your question.
Yes, I'm here to see the link for the attendance.
Miss Precious, can you please repost it again? Check the message. They've been posting it. I've been saying it. Is that?
I've been posting it. I just posted it now.
Okay. Some seconds ago. I've also posted
your
it.
Message.
Check is there, please.
Have you seen
Esther's
it?
hand has been up. Esther.
I called Esther Paul. I think I've answered. I've attended to already. So Precious, your question. Why we give people that have not filled the field? Let's give them 2 more minutes before I end the call. Precious, do you have a question?
Yes, I do. It's concerning this assignment of 18. There was an assignment they sent on the group. Is it that we are not doing that one? We are waiting for the one you are going to send tomorrow, or I don't understand.
Tomorrow is the second assignment. There was an assignment given last week.
Yes, I did that, but there's a recent one.
Who posted it in the group?
Maybe I just I think I sent it in the group. I can't remember who sent it, though I saw their sentiment in the group.
I will check. I will check. I will check to
Are you
confirm.
sure it's recent or is the previous one the person
Probably
posted?
be the
Did
previous
you check
one
what's
because
inside?
I've not given out the second assignment yet, so I don't know how you got there.
Okay.
I think it's that assignment that you gave us. I think our last class. With this middle name, you gave us assignment that day.
Yeah, but that was verbal now. That was verbal. I didn't give out like a what's it called? Like a sheet or a PDF file. I just told you guys to research on substitutes and replace, then the middle name. I just said it out verbally. I've not given out the assignment yet. DK Joy, that will be the last question for today.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, sir, I wanted to ask you, like, based on the assignment, the way we submit assignment, we were asked to create a folder. Then on the folder, you keep putting your assignment there. So the link, are we meant to resend the link again, or we just put it inside the folder?
Have you guys, has the form for you guys to submit the link to your drive been given out?
Yes.
Then just upload it there. We can get access to it with those links.
Okay, we
No
don't
need.
need to. All
No
we
need.
have to do is just to keep uploading our assignments since
Yes.
we've sent the link already.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other question? Any other question? Taria, was hand up or you just raised it?
It's up.
Okay.
The last time, good evening. Sorry.
Yes.
The
Good
last
evening.
time I asked for help with creating the drive, you said you were going to drop a video. I'm still waiting on that.
Okay. I'm juggling a lot, right?
No problem.
Yeah, I will. Okay, don't give me 1 hour. You will get this in the group.
Thank
1 hour.
you.
If I can't find the short video, maybe I'll just screen record one myself and I'll drop the tutorial for you guys.
No
Okay.
problem. Thank you so much.
All right. So thank you, ladies, very much, and I wish you guys a wonderful and productive week ahead. I'll see you guys on Wednesday.
You too. Thank you. God bless you.